Hello everyone, I'm Jacob, the Community Manager with Paradox Studio Black. Today we'll be reading the words of Akash, 3D artist lead at the studio, as he walks us through some of the character art coming in All Under Heaven. We wanted to share some insights into the creative process behind the character apparel coming in this expansion. Our primary inspiration comes from two of the most aesthetically striking and culturally rich eras in Chinese history. The Tang Dynasty, which ruled from 618 to 907 AD, and the Song Dynasty, which ruled from 960 to 1279 AD. Together, these two dynasties fit our game's time frame perfectly. Each of the dynasties had its own distinct cultural and creative identity, which we've carefully studied throughout the development of All Under Heaven. Our aim has been to provide a good level of visual variety as well as a believable representation of these historical time periods. It's our hope that our effort in this area results in a richer and more historically authentic visual experience for all of our players. As always, we first needed to develop a solid understanding of the time period and learn as much as we could about the Chinese clothing styles of the Tang and Song dynasties. With great help from our stellar team of beta testers, as well as other team members with extensive knowledge and resources, we started by collecting historical resources from ancient murals, books, museum collections, as well as academic papers and books on Chinese costume history and reconstructions of Hanfu clothing. We then set up a reference board to collect our sources and ideas in a visual way. At this point, we also got help from our talented colleagues in the 2D art team, who created concept art for many of the assets we were adding. These drawings, combined with the reference images, are what our 3D artists use as guides when working on each item. Typical features of the Tang Dynasty include long sleeves with long skirts and bold colors, while the Song Dynasty is characterized more by wide-sleeved Hanfu clothes, long skirts, floral embroidery, and elegant simplicity. Overall, we are introducing a total of 84 Chinese culture assets in All Under Heaven, including 16 hairstyles, 21 clothing assets, 12 beards, 12 pieces of legwear, 18 pieces of headgear, 2 complete armor sets, and 3 map units. On screen now, you can see some game renders for various hairstyles, beards, and headgear for both male and female characters. These items are triggered in the game based on the character's ranking and status. We've also created many new fabric patterns for Chinese clothing, all based on historical sources. These were applied to clothing in the game, both as multicolored brocades, as well as more subtle, monochromatic patterning. Since Chinese dynasties had strict rules regarding colors, fabrics, and cuts of garments, we developed a system for classifying clothes according to their merit ranking in-game. Our approach involves using specific palettes to categorize outfits based on color variations. This is then scripted so that a character, such as a minister, will wear different colored robes depending on their rank. We hope this system will provide players with a clearer understanding of how garment aesthetics played a role in status and hierarchy within China. We use color palettes like the examples shown on screen to enhance the color diversity of each outfit. This is what allows us to do the aforementioned robes for differently ranked ministers, for example, but it also lets us create more colorful outfits with many patterns and complex combinations. This expansion adds many garments with multiple layered components, so to support them, we expanded our dynamic patterning system from 4 to 6 dynamic materials, which lets us represent the era's colorful clothing more faithfully. Tang and Song Dynasty armors were often made of lamellar and mountain pattern plates tied together with leather or silk cords, sometimes incorporating metal, lacquered leather, or silk, symbolizing the Empire's wealth and martial strength. In All Under Heaven, we have included a Tang-era cord and plaque armor and a Song-era elite mountain pattern armor. In addition to portrait characters, we also represent the military might of the Chinese dynasties in All Under Heaven with new army units on the map. For every culture, we typically have 3 tiers of map units shown on screen now. The Japanese Heian period, from 794 to 1185 AD, was characterized by grace, ceremony, and multi-layered clothing, and is the inspiration for the Japanese set of character attire in All Under Heaven. The rich patterns, hues, textures of Heian court dress are what we aim to capture with our expansion. This includes important clothing such as the Juni Hitoe, or the 12-layer robe. Worn by ladies of the court, this elegant, multi-layered ensemble uses carefully chosen colors to reflect seasons. This was an interesting challenge for our art team. We used cloth simulation software to faithfully recreate each layer of this costume one after the other. We also included the sokutai, or imperial robe. For male courtiers, from the middle ranks all the way up to the emperor himself, the sokutai includes wide sleeves, tall headwear, and a stiff, formal silhouette. Our version blends ceremonial grandeur with slight mobility for animations. As with the Juni Hitoe, we constructed the sokutai in a true-to-life way, with each layer of the real outfit included in the simulation. The outermost garment is the Hokei no Ho, worn over 6 additional layers that help create the sokutai's iconic silhouette. As you can see on screen now, we also modeled the ceremonial Kazari Tachi sword based on a real example from the Heian period. We've also included the Oyori armor and the Kabuto helmet, creating an iconic boxy silhouette with large shoulder guards, chest armor, and a skirt of lamellar plates, or kusazuri. Tied with brightly colored silk cords, this armor was both defensive and highly decorative. Similar to our previously described process for creating Chinese garments, for these Japanese assets we started by collecting historical references from ancient murals and museum collections, books and websites focused on Japanese history, as well as patterns that are still used today in imperial ceremonies and as part of living history events. Overall, we have created a total of 47 assets for Japanese culture in All Under Heaven, including 6 hairstyles, 18 pieces of clothing, 4 beards, 5 pieces of legwear, 9 headgear pieces, 2 armor sets, and 3 map units. Shown on screen now are some game renders for various hairstyles, beards, and headgear for both male and female characters. As before, these items are triggered in-game based on the character's ranking and status. Much like the Chinese system of government, the ranking system for Japanese dynasties heavily relies on the color and design of garments, so we try to group the outfits by rank using color palettes. We have also developed numerous brocades and trims that are unique to Japanese culture in-game. As with China, we have also created 3 new map models for Japanese military units. The Khmer Empire from the 9th to 10th centuries AD influences character clothing, emphasizing the splendor of Angkorian-era style. Royal attire such as the sampot, a long wrapped skirt, features golden belts and elaborate crowns or headdresses, and is typically worn by kings or high officials. Temple dancer or apsara outfits typically feature flowing silk garments and elaborate jewelry. These are typically worn with large, heavily decorated crowns and headdresses. Overall, we've created a total of 2 sets of clothes and headgear for this region. Now, with the map significantly expanded to cover vast new regions, there are many new cultures and peoples represented in Crusader Kings 3. One important aspect of that representation is the new ethnicities we've added across East Asia. Shown on screen now are some examples of character appearances from different regions. Now, if you study the screenshots closely, you may notice that you see something that looks a little different from the current version of Crusader Kings 3. We've made some overall improvements to skin textures, lighting, shading, and renderer settings. This affects how all characters in the game, not just those from new areas, and should result in all of them looking a little bit better. Featuring by far the largest number of assets we have made for an expansion, not to mention focusing on an entirely new area of the world, All Under Heaven provided a significant challenge for the Studio Black art team, but it was also very rewarding to dive into this incredibly rich source material and bring it to life within Crusader Kings 3. We're pleased with the results and volume of content, and we sincerely hope it contributes to the immersion of our expansion. It's been incredibly important for us to enable many of you to be able to play in your countries and cultures you've always wanted to play. It might even be your own. While we had a lot of material and references to work with for this expansion, the sheer scope of it means we couldn't implement everything on day one. There are so many beautiful clothes and accessories from the era that we would love to realize one day, so please, after All Under Heaven releases, we would love to hear from you what you felt was missing and would like to see us add in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, if you want to stay up to date with everything Crusader Kings 3, then please like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back next week with more art and some of the music that you will be able to experience in All Under Heaven. We hope you enjoyed this brief look at the character art in All Under Heaven, and we'll see you next time. You know, I gotta be honest, this one was so much easier to record than last week's dev diary. It still takes a while to make sure that all of the audio sounds good on my side before we send it off for editing and processing, but this didn't take anywhere near as long to do. Oh, and for all the people accusing me of being an AI last week, we did encounter some audio processing issues last week. The initial audio recording itself was 58 minutes long. We decided to try an automated method of clipping the silent parts from audio takes, as well as speeding up portions of the audio to ensure a consistent cadence throughout. It didn't work out. It made me sound glitchy and robotic, but I assure you, I'm a real person. That's what I've been told, at least.